9 season into the Build a Nation Challenge in Croatia, we've picked up another trophy, but we are still unable to clinch the title on a regular basis. How do we buck the trend and get ourselves past the established teams in the league? That's what we're going to look at this episode, so stick around, it should be good. And straight into the review then of what was quite a tumultuous season. We've had a lot of players come in. Yeah, we've had a huge squad turnaround. We've had a really good season, but there's still some positives and negatives to pick from it. So let's get through that. First thing to look at is in terms of the signings. I think most of them are massively positive. So Nazareno came in as a right winger from Barcelona. Only made 2 appearances and got 2 goals in that. So that's promising. Spent a huge period out on loan. Huge success, Alexander Cherniak. He 37 appearances, 7.19 B+. So that's great. Gasparic, he's become a wonder kid, 19-year-old, so that's 2 fantastic centre-halves we've got now. He played 42 games. What that might mean is we move on a couple of our Brazilian centre-halves and replace them with European ones, because one of the negative points is the squad registration rules, which we'll go about in a little bit. Maurice Basso brought in a young Italian goalkeeper, 4 games. He's an understudy really, he's not going to play too many. Mike Wazowski, he played quite a few games, 36, 12 goals, playing from the right-hand side as an inside forward. Only got a C+, but I think that's not doing him justice, because I think he's had a great season. Lucas Olsen, we brought in on loan from Juventus, 35 games, added much stability to the middle of the park. Moez Tounzi, who came in after the January transfer window, thought he might come in and get us a lot of goals. He's done alright, 9 goals from 17. I think we're just really struggling for a long-term striker to really take us to the next level, and that's one of the talking points we'll have after the season review as well. Ivo Klaric, we brought in as a young left back. He's played 28 games, 5 sub appearances. I think we're looking to establish more Croatian players within the squad. Again, we'll talk about this squad page. Simunovic as well, he'd come in as a right back player, playing 30 games, 4 sub appearances. Bradley De Jesus, 35 goals, playing all over the pitch really. Brought him in on a free transfer. Again, we might look to cash in on him as we try and re-establish some home nation players in there. And then Fernando de Silva played 2 games, got 1 goal. I think one of them might have even been in the cup final, but again, another fairly promising signing in terms of a youngster coming up. In terms of the outgoings, a huge number of players went out. It's hard to pinpoint exactly how successful these are in terms of some transfer fees recouped. Some huge values in there, 7 million, 3.5 million for Kovacevic at 30-year-old. We had Almeida coming in, who's really established himself as, I think he got goalkeeper of the year this season, so it vindicates that decision. Some of the other players who just weren't quite fitting in, weren't reaching any kind of higher peak as to where they were, so Rukavina moving on with the plethora of wingers we brought in. Nicholas, Brazilian fullback, we moved out to bring in some European for the squad rotation rules. Perpic wasn't getting a game. Lukanic as well in the middle of the pitch, just moving them on because they were coming a bit unsettled. Tolja, Kajuncic, again, they'd served their purposes from a couple of seasons before, moved them on. 1.6 million for Kvijanovic. Again, maybe we could have held him on to him as left back, but he was very unsettled, so we cashed in on and moved on. And then 5 million from Aki, who we used to bring in some of the young players last season. So largely positive in terms of financial, maybe not so much in terms of balance in the squad. Lots of players went out on loan. I think they've done pretty well, really. Can we sort of buy appearances? So Mark Maguire, Lokomotiva, a centre-half, he's played 39 games, established as one of their best players. Subaric, a young striker we've got who's actually Croatian. We might need to try and integrate him into the squad in some way. Takac, another striker who went out, had a good season, 33 games, 19 goals, so he's scoring a few as well. Svoboda, a winger on the left-hand side, might come back out. Likewise, Ortiz, another left winger. Backer, a striker who, 14 goals in 24 is not terrible. Ivanov, a goalkeeper. A large number of these we might actually just have to cash in on after a 1 season in, get them out on loan, and try and re-evaluate whether we set up a loan farm or try and establish ourselves as European superpower first. Larsen, again, Lokomotiva, good season. Kodama went out on a couple different loans. Zebic wasn't getting so much game time with us. Palavinek, another Croatian who I would have liked to have kept long term, but just couldn't fit him into the team when we changed the formation and dropped the attacking midfielder. Noguchi, another defender. Hesimovic, a rare Croatian under development, playing on the right hand side. I think he's going to be a big feature of the team next year. And then Javorcic, Simic and Jumicic, 3 Croatians who've gone out because they weren't getting the game time, but they might well reintegrate as we move into next season and try and get a little bit more balanced in terms of the registration. In terms of the season, this is disappointing. We only lost 2 games all season. One against Lokomotiva, who beat us with our own loan players, and once against Hajduk, who beat us 2-0 with 3 games to go. And as you can see, we finished 3 points behind. So if we'd have won that game, we'd have probably won the league. So that is a little bit frustrating that happened, but it doesn't always go your way. However, across the whole season, only losing 2 games is massive. We just need to start turning some of these draws again into wins, and I think the key to that is finding a striker again. Boozy got 9 goals. He didn't play that many. We've brought in some other players to try and get through. And I mean, Mike Wazowski played some games up front, but we've not really found a settled number 9 who's really going to get us the goals moving forward. And we either need to do a formation change and play 2 up top, or we need to find someone who can just handle that pressure on their own to get the goals. In terms of the Champions League, we had an absolute rip-roaring Champions League. We managed to get through all the qualifiers, beating Levski Sofia, Red Bull Leipzig, Austria Vienna. And then in the group stages, we lost to Valencia, we beat Ludogorets, we got a surprise 1-0 win against Liverpool. That was a tremendous game where we scored early and just held on for our dear lives. Milan beat us 2-1, which was unfortunate. A draw against Slavia Prague, a win against Salzburg. Juventus absolutely hammered us. A win against Ajax put us through, where we met Arsenal in the playoffs, and they well and truly put us in our place. But in terms of progress and the coefficients, that's gone a long way towards lifting the coefficient scores up as well. And in the same competition, Hajduk had a good run as well. I think they went 1 round further than us, and then got knocked out by Juventus. Croatian Cup, this is what we won. So a fairly straightforward run through. Solin we beat 4-2, Lokomotiva home 2-0 win, Jaran Zagreb from League 2 3-0, Rijeka a 2-1 type victory, and then over 2 legs against Zagreb we had a 1-0 win at home, which was enough to see us through with a 0-0 in the second leg. Our top goal scorers in that competition, Kamara and Kem and Cherniak. So we defend a midfielder who doesn't play very good games, and then Kamara as well, very much rotational. So we didn't put particularly strong teams in the earlier rounds, but we still managed to get to the later rounds, put in the team, and we were capable of taking the trophy home. So that's going to boost the club's stature. In terms of the moments to remember, we had a 5-0 win against Marsonia, who were bottom of the league. You might remember from last episode, I think they got a result against us earlier on with a draw against bottom, which is frustrating. But we've gone there and we've done the business and got the points on that occasion. UEFA Champions League, a 4-1 win against Austria Vienna. That well and truly put us through the qualifying round against them and got us into the group stages. And then in the first league away at Lokomotiva, Pereira and Mohar with 2 goals and a 2-0 win. In terms of finances, the only really big one to pick out of here is that Champions League prize money. 18.44 last year, up to 33.78 for the additional progress this year, and we've qualified again, so we need another good run in there to keep the finances going. In terms of the shirt sales, Pereira, Mike Wazowski, Mohar, Cherniak and Vukvic. Bit surprising that we've not really got any strikers in there, which just I think lends to the fact we don't really have a superstar up front yet. I mean, it's got Tolja up front in this game. He did, towards the start of the season, play some games, but only 6. There's other players. Boozy played more, Mike Wazowski played up top more, even our new Swedish striker played more. So, fairly settled squad. Mohar's playing a lot deeper. I know he likes to play in the pocket, but he's had to come deeper in terms of the formation. We might make a change and go a bit more attacking next season, but we'll see how the summer transfer window pops out. In terms of the accolades, 2 Manager of the Month and 1 Manager of the Year, which is good. Players picking up some good awards. So fans player, young player and signing of the season was Cherniak. Again, he's been phenomenal, 19-year-old, and he will be a centre half for us for years to come. Joe Almeida picked up goalkeeper of the year. Again, he's just hit 3.5-star potential. He does have a 16.5 million release clause. Hoping nobody meets that, but 22-year-old Chilean goalkeeper, fantastic to have in there. Most man of the match awards in a season, Mike Wazowski. I mean, I did say I think he's had a really good season on that right-hand side. He only shows him as being 3-star, but I think he's a little bit better than that in terms of his stats and his output. But again, we'll see as we move into next season. And then in terms of the manager timeline, 6 million signing of Mohamed Sagante. I'll show you him in a minute. He's coming in as another centre-half. Investing in potential, we've got a free transfer signing of the talented young Ivan Lutar. We'll have a look at him now. And I don't know why he's down as a free transfer signing, because he actually came through our youth intake and we just elected to sign him. So it's not like we did anything marvellous in there. He was just the only one with any kind of potential out of a really poor intake. Almeida, player of the season. Gasparic and Cherniak, our two centre-halves, both nominated for the Next Generation Award, which was amazing. Manager of the Year and then the Croatian Cup. So all in all, a successful season. However, we need to find a way to oust Hajduk at the top of the league. So if we look at the squad, and this is the first thing I would say, is towards the end of the season, really struggled. I was constantly playing games with 3 or 4 subs missing due to squad registration rules, and that was to do with the number of foreign players we had. So I think we've got 8. In fact, it's 9. We've got 9 in amongst that squad, which is already a small squad. You can only take 6 in the squad, so already 3 are missing out. So we really need to address that. There are a huge number of players coming back from the under-19 squad when the loans finish, of which quite a lot of them have still reasonable potential in there. I mean, everything above 3.5 stars is something I'd like to integrate into the first team squad, and there's lots of players knocking on the door for some starts in here. However, a lot of them are also foreign players. So where we had a big turnaround of players next season, I think we're going to be a bit more shrewd and let a lot go this year. Neto already looking at a transfer pre-arranged to go out. I'm looking at moving on Bradley De Jesus. We might move on Patel if a big offer comes in for him, because we've got two established next-gen centre-halves playing within the team. And then in terms of the transfers, I've only made the 3 so far to come in. I mean, that's already 12 million, I think, which is largely the transfer budget gone. But we'll have a quick look at them now. I think you'll agree that in terms of making the club take the next step in young players, we've been a bit more shrewd. I've tried not to spend as wildly free as I did last season. First one, Mohamed Sangante. He looks like a tremendous player, certainly from the physical aspects. But at 186 centimetres, his positioning, his work rate, his concentration, his determination, I think he could be an exceptional centre-half. We've got another 2 already, so that's 3 absolutely phenomenal centre-halves we're going to have in there. We would only need 1 more to kind of rotate through there, of which we've got a couple floating around, whether we keep Patel or not. And he's going to take up a foreign player slot, so we're going to have to be careful, but we'll have to maybe move 1 or 2 players we wouldn't necessarily let go, move on, and see what happens after that. Then I take the opportunity, these players came off the next gen list, so I scouted them. Sergio Martinez, the Paraguayan, again, he'll take another foreign national slot, although if we can get him in early enough, we can get him homegrown at club status, which eases some of the restrictions in the league, but it will take him 3 years to get to that. But again, technique, first touch, flair off the ball, and he's got finishing as well. So in terms of a striker coming in to maybe make himself that established player we need up top, there's one right there. And then secondly, we've got Tim Broich, again at a very similar mould, maybe not quite as good in terms of the technique and finishing, but he's got the determination, he's got the physical stats to go with it. Austrian, so he should be non-foreign registered. So 3 players coming into a already small squad. We've got to turn that squad around. I'm going to click through, get through the transfer window, see who I can move out. I'll remove all the yellow dots, I won't do that this time around, but we'll see how we can turn around the squad and shape it as we play into the first 10 games of the season. So stick around, I'll see if I can just sort us out, make us a little bit more Croatian than we have been in recent times, and see if we can sort out the squad registration so that we're a bit more balanced and I can field a full bench of players. So I'll be back very shortly. And welcome back. So here we go. We're 10 games into the season. The transfer window is all shut. We'll just quickly round up what we've done. So previously you'd seen Tim Broich, Sergio Martinez and Mohamed Sangante, who'd come on and pre-arranged transfers as the season ended and we moved through the summer. The players out, they've already gone by February, so you should already be aware of all them. Moving into the new season then, 16.5 million spent. That's on top of about 13 million we'd spent already, and 19 million recouped. Of the 19 million recouped, I mean, Marko Zevic has moved on, Croatian centre-half. Morris Basso, who we brought in as a goalkeeper to develop from Italy, he's moved on. Mark Maguire, another one we brought in, loaned out for a season, he's moved on for 1.8, rising to 2.2 million. A few loans going out. Fernando Silva, the Brazilian striker, we've moved back out. Neto, who we had as a developmental Brazilian. Again, both of them moved on for part of the foreign national rules along with Mark Maguire. Noguchi as well, another one. We're just trying to clear out some of them foreign players because it's too hard to rotate them through the squad. Ortiz, another one of them. Bradley De Jesus, the right back, he'd reached his potential threshold, so we moved him on, replaced him with a Croatian. Mergin Boozy, we've moved on. Mateus Patel, the big one, he's gone for about 10.75 million to Saudi Arabia. Again, another foreign national moving off the books. Loaned a couple of other players in and then just moved some fringe players around. In terms of players that come in, Mateus Kiss we brought in for a Romanian 23-year-old, already a ready-made, ready-to-go striker. Brought him in to be a first teamer while we brought some of like Boych and Martinez up to speed. However, it's not really panned out that well for him. He's had 6 games in the Champions League, 1 goal through the qualifiers, but Martinez has caught up pretty quickly, and Martinez has made himself a first teamer pretty much straight away. So Kiss is going to kind of sit on the peripheral a little bit. Still a really useful squad player to have, and he's enabled us to let some other players go, but he's not going to get the game time we initially thought he might. Next one, Eldin Mukic for 4.2, right, raising to 4.3. We've pinched him from Dynamo, 18-year-old Bosnian, can play in the centre midfielder and right back as a right wing back. We're playing him in the centre midfield and we're developing for a long-term replacement in there just to bring up the homegrown at club, if we can keep him here for 3 years before he's 21, and homegrown in nation. So from a squad registration rule moving forward and with a 4 gusting 5 potential, a really shrewd piece of business in there that we can keep long term. Samir Kaka, we've brought in from Bayern Munich on loan. That's because we were struggling at right back, letting De Jesus go. There was a few players in the squad say we weren't strong enough, so we brought him in and he slipped in pretty comfortably in that right back position. But we've still got Simunovic in there and we've got Kaka in there for another bit of rotational option. Next one from Hajduk split, 1.4 million, Antonini Gluic. Again, another developmental left back to bring in there. So we've got 2 young left backs in that position now, getting homegrown at nation. Got him in the club and we're moving forward. Simeon Zahariev, we bought him for 3.3 million as a European replacement for Patel, who went out. Again, he makes up the 4th centre half in that kind of quartet that will rotate around those positions. I'm not sure how much game time he'll get long term. He is ready made. He is a really good defender, but Sangante is our best player at the club, I think. Gasparic isn't far behind him, and Ketiol as well. So that was there. And then just Jonathan Jose Bergart, and again, I'm a master of my own downfall here. Because I just thought he looked like a fantastic player, central midfielder, competition for Moha. However, he's Argentinian, so it's another foreign national we brought in there. But I think you can agree he's a phenomenally talented looking player. At 21 years old, he's got some developmental potential in there as well. So we've brought him in to develop him on and maybe move him on for profit later on. That takes us through what we look like in terms of transfers, in terms of the squad itself. Quite a good, slightly bigger than last year's squad. Really good spread of players in there. Ivanov doesn't really even get on the bench normally. In the Champions League game he does, from registration we're allowed, but domestically he's got to sit out while we squeeze some of the other players in, and that's because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 foreign nationals. So in the league games 3 of those have to miss out the squad, so there's still a little bit of work to do in terms of ironing out that particular problem, but certainly we're down from like the 15, 16 we were at, so it's a bit more manageable. In terms of the ones who've played the most games so far, Olmedo, the goalkeeper, he's come on leaps and bounds since Kovacevic moved on. He's our first team keeper. He's a leading goalkeeper. I think he might be in the predicted team of the season as well, so he's still got another half star to eke out in his potential, but again, I think he'll be with us for many years to come. In terms of the most goals, this is good as well. We've got 2 players up there. We've got Sergio Martinez on 12 and Mike Wazowski. Martinez top of the list because he's done it in 10 games and 2 sub appearances, so that's a goal a game. And he's only 19-year-old Paraguayan. He's got a little bit more potential to eke out, but I mean, 11 goals in 8 Croatian First League games. I mean, that's a record if he can keep that up. So we'll keep persevering with him. I'm sure he's going to develop really quickly, and I think we might have finally found our long-term solution to the goals situation. In terms of assists, Dominik Bukvic, he's still hanging in there as like our best Croatian kind of contributor to the front end. He's 28 years old. Did think about moving him on in the summer, but because he can play left and right, he's a really useful squad player to have in there, and homegrown for the registration rules as well. And then in terms of average ratings, we've got Mike Wazowski again with his 12 goals. He's got plenty of assists in there as well, and his 12 goals have come from the right hand side. So 2 players in there, 24 goals between them. I think if we can get Pereira firing on the left hand side as well, we could be in for a phenomenal season. In terms of development and loans, with all the sales, we don't have as many players out on loan anymore. Didn't sign particularly many players from the latest youth intake because they were all absolute garbage. But there are a couple good players in here. Lutar, when he comes back, a fullback on the left, he's come through our own youth system. So again, he's potentially going to be a really good signing moving forward. Nazareno on the right hand side, it looks like a particularly good player. However, it's another foreign national, so we've got to work out what to do with him. Tim Broich we've put out on loan because Martinez has made himself first choice, and we've got Kiss there on the bench. Subric is another homegrown, and a few other players in there who are floating in and around the squad that we might figure out what we're going to do with them in the long term, but probably sell them on and kind of try and develop the squad itself. Finance wise, we're up to 40 million. The projection doesn't look particularly great. It's on a massive decline. Might have something to do with building a new stadium, etc. But 40 million in the bank at the minute enables us to make some really good progress in terms of the club. From that, we've got an extension which has been in the planning phase. I think it's going to go from 3,000 up to 4,000 odd. We've had some new training facilities and the new stadium's complete as well. So we'll keep pressing on that where we can. In terms of the club info itself and the facilities, 3,000 all seater, that's going to go up to 4,000 odd. Adequate academy coaching, which isn't great. Exceptional youth recruitment, which is fantastic. Good youth facilities, we need to make that a little bit better. Training facilities are excellent. I think we can potentially get that to state of the art, and our pitch is perfect. So all that's good. Scouting wise, I've put them all through Europe trying to find some more youngsters. I've left them out of the South Americas, etc., because I think we need to lay off them foreign players for a little bit, certainly to try and curb my urge to buy youngsters at every opportunity. In terms of the competitions then, 10 games in, top of the table, 21 points from 10 games. We've had 1 loss, 3 draws, 6 wins, so shaping up quite nicely. The surprise really is Hajduk's down there in 4th place with 4 losses already this season, when I don't think they lost more than 1 last season. So we'll try and keep that going. We've got a superior goal difference by some way, so I think it just shows you how the formation's working out in terms of getting a few more goals. Champions League wise, we've won 1, lost 1. I think we got beat by, I want to say Atletico Madrid or someone, or Benfica, but we did get a win early on. I think it was against Levski Sofia. So or Sparta Prague. It might have been Sparta Prague actually. I'll have a look in a minute. But we got through all the qualifying rounds. We got into the group stages. We've got to play Liverpool again. I think we've got to play PSG as well. So there's going to be some hard matches in there. Roma's another one. So again, trying to get into the playoffs. I think it's going to be a push trying to get into that top phase. I don't think there's much chance of that. But if we can get into the playoffs again and generate the funding from that and get some more players, get some more reputation, that puts us in good stead. In terms of the cup, we've got an away tie at Kobrivnica, so I think we should be able to win that one quite comfortably, rotate some players. Super Cup, we didn't win, we got beat 2-1, runners up in that. Not the end of the world, it would have been nice to win, but we couldn't, so it probably came a bit too early for us in terms of the fixtures. In terms of how we got where we did go, league-wise, we've won the majority of our games. Draw at Osijek, we had a loss against Hajduk. Again, they're just our never-ending frustration of Hajduk just being a little bit better than us. Beat Rangers in the qualifying rounds, beat Leipzig. Again, it was a very tight affair, that one. Sturm Graz, we eked through on penalties, which I think out of them 3 ties was probably the easiest of the 3. But we made a bit of a meal of it. Benfica had beat us 3-0, and we beat Sparta Prague. So we're in good stead. We're going to move into the rest of the season. In terms of tactics, we're going with a Carrilero and a deep line playmaker on support, advanced playmaker on support, and then the front 3 being attacking, winger on the left, inside forward on the right, and Martinez up front. Pretty stable back 4, 2 centre halves, pretty solid, both fullbacks on support, so nothing too dramatic, playing on a positive mentality. Seems to be working so far, but I still think there might be a few more tweaks in there to eke out a few more goals. In terms of the squad planner, again, I've got rid of all the loan players, but we're pretty comfortable in most positions. I think we're not going to need to do too much in terms of business. Bear in mind, in the scouting budget, we've got 5.37 million spent on players and 98,000 on wages. I think I'll largely sell that for the next gen list that comes out to maybe eke out 1 or 2 Europeans if we can. And that's pretty much bringing us up to speed. In terms of the Croatian league and our potential, we've got to second at the minute, 15-8, but we've actually gone past Hajduk split for the first time. And Sangante, who we'll have a quick look at, is potentially the best player in the league. In terms of the team of the season, star player Almeida, our goalkeeper. We've got 2 defenders in there. We've got a third defender, bizarrely in advanced midfield. We've got an advanced midfield playing midfield, and we've got Pereira on the left. So 6 players out of the Dream 11, with Sangante being the pick of the bunch, who, again, he's up at 4.5 star. Current ability, he can eke out another half star. He's worth 24 to 28 million, and he's only 21. So the future is looking bright for Vukovar. And it's now just about getting through the games to see if we can secure our second league title. And just going from strength to strength. Another good European push. In terms of the coefficients, because I can't remember if I dipped into it last time around, is we did recover the 2 positions we'd lost the year before. And I think we got back up to 10th. So we're on 50.9. Really close now to Netherlands. So again, another good performance this year. We need to start sliding that 7.5. We need to slide that out first and keep them in the double figures. Then the next target will be to slip that 8.3 out there. And if we can get them all in the double figures, we'll be up into the 60s, where we can start pushing for 7th place, maybe gusting up towards 6th, before we really start thinking about attacking them top 5. So progress is good. We're not going to go with a lone farm position just yet. I think we really need to secure ourselves as a bit of a domestic force where we're just winning relentlessly all the domestic trophies. We have to make a few more inroads into the European competitions, whether that's getting out of the group stages of the Champions League or maybe dropping into Europa League and see if we can win that competition. But other than that, that should serve as a good update as to where we are. A little bit ways to go, some more money to spend on next gens, or we've culled some of the foreign nationals. The squad's looking a bit more rounded. I just need to keep away from them pesky South Americans, and we'll all be good. So until next time, enjoy your saves, enjoy your football, and I'll see you soon.